This was November 17th of last year when Chris Mannix, who covers the sport of boxing as well as the NBA, and I asked him about the possibility of a Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather fight. Here's Chris Mannix.
I've talked to people in the Nevada Commission. That's where the fight would probably be in Las Vegas. There are people in that commission who have said, we're not going to sanction this. Why would we sanction a boxing match between the best boxer in the world and a guy that's never boxed before in his life? So people should put this idea out of their heads because it's just never going to happen.
All right, let's bring in Chris Mannix from Yahoo Sports, The Vertical. How did we get from there to here, Chris?
Well, I'd first like to point out, Dan, that outside of my time in bars, every bad life decision has been recorded on this show. We got here largely because of the pile of money, and I don't have any respect, by the way, for the Nevada Commission for sanctioning this. I mean, I saw some of the quotes from Bob Bennett, the executive director of the Nevada Commission, saying that there was the film they've watched of McGregor shows he can box. I mean, give me a break. I mean, this should be an exhibition, not a truly sanctioned fight, and the commission should be embarrassed for doing it. But we're here because there's just too much money on the table for either one of these fighters to pass this up. I mean, this is a fight that's probably going to, and I say this incredulously, but going to eclipse 2 to 3 million pay-per-view buys and make these guys in the neighborhood of $75 to $100 million. That's exclusively why we're here.
All right, you can't say that McGregor doesn't have a chance because he's in the ring, and he does have a chance. He has a chance to at least knock him out. How would you assess, though, just the boxing skills of Conor McGregor and what you've seen?
I mean, the word rudimentary comes to mind when I think of McGregor's boxing skills. There's a video circulating out there of him sparring that is, pretty awful. And let's remember, I mean, everything about this fight is a boxing match. He's going to be wearing 10-ounce gloves. He's used to wearing those 4-ounce pads. He's got to go the full 12 rounds in this fight. He's used to fighting 5, and for the most part, it's a lot of his fights have gone a lot shorter. I mean, he's going to enter an entirely new world. And look, I mean, I'd push back, Dan, on the narrative that he can't win. He can't win. He can't win. I mean, it would take, in my opinion, an act of God for McGregor to win this fight. There would have to be like a torn ACL for Mayweather in the first round. Even then, I'd still probably favor Floyd fighting on one ACL. He's entering a world that is a complete unknown to him, and everything that made him a great UFC fighter is virtually irrelevant in a fight like this.
Seton, we were recording on that, right? Yeah, we were.
We got it.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
Just the worst. He records.
First of all, Spain is stacked. I mean, they're a team.
Spain's going to be great in the 3-on-3, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, they are. But he has a chance. You can't say he has no chance. You might not like him as a boxer.
I mean,
he has a chance.
But like what? Okay, what percentage chance? Let's play that game.
Even if it's 1%, if it's a tenth of 1%, he has a chance.
What is this, Dumb and Dumber? Like, yes, you're telling me there's a chance.
Wait, you're the one that said it would never happen, and I said follow the money in these two sports. So
right, the biggest surprise to me, and look, when I talked to people yesterday about how this negotiation came together, they said it was remarkably fast, that the deal points and the money, once they were sat down and actually negotiated, came together fast. And the reason they're doing this on August 26th, Dan, is because August 26th is a bad pay-per-view date. Usually boxing, you never see a big boxing promotion in the summertime because they think people have better things to do on Saturday nights in the summer than stay in and watch a fight. The reason they're doing this so fast is because they don't want to give the public any more time to realize what they're fighting. It's like a guy going to Vegas. It's like a guy going to Vegas and getting married on a whim, and he does it because he doesn't want to have to think about it and realize he's making a bad decision. The people that are going to put $100 down this fight, if you drag this out till October, November, and it continues getting just pureed in the media as it will over the next couple of months, they don't want to give people more time to think about how bad a fight this is going to be. So they put this on, they're rushing it out the front door, and they want to make this thing happen before people realize that this is a gross, utter mismatch.
Is it bad for boxing, bad for MMA? Both? Neither?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's bad. I do think that it's disappointing largely, and I can only speak from a boxing perspective, that there are so many fighters that I'd like to see Mayweather fight against. I mean, you could probably sell me in the next 6 months or so on a rematch with Pacquiao, just because Pacquiao's fought pretty well. I'm not saying it's the same fight, Dan. I'm not saying you don't have to make it $100 or whatever, but you could sell me on that. There are other guys, not to get too wonkish, but like Keith Thurman, Errol Spence. Like, sign me up for those fights as a boxing fan. This is going after the casual. This is going after the circus fan, the guys that love to see the complete, the zaniness of these press conferences. This is who this is targeting, and this is who this is going to disappoint.
He's Chris Mannix, Yahoo Sports The Vertical, covers the NBA and boxing senior writer. All right, let's look at the draft coming up next week. I'm not sold on the Celtics with Markelle Fultz. It just feels like and I know smoke screens, this is where we start to see them, not see through them maybe, but what do you think happens at the top and then as we work our way down to second and third pick?
I'd be really surprised if it's anybody but Fultz, and I'm basing that. Danny Ainge, obviously, he's a wild card. You don't know what decision he could make kind of unilaterally. But in the months prior to the lottery, this is even before Boston knew they were going to have the number one pick. When I'm talking to scouts there and executives in the organization, they were just effusive in their praise of Fultz. They think he is a transcendent, once every 10 years type of point guard. So based on that information, I think he's going to go number one. And with number two, the Lakers, you got to remember who's running the Lakers on the day-to-day. It's Magic Johnson at the top, but Rob Pelinka is a former agent. And Rob Pelinka is, agents during this process, they love to throw chum in the water and just, and see what happens. And Rob Pelinka, and I think the Lakers are putting out some misdirection out there. They're letting people know that, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, the workout for Lonzo Ball wasn't very good. I'm not believing any of it. I think they'd like to see if a team like, Sacramento is that nuts that they might try to move up and make a blockbuster deal or somebody else. I still believe that what I heard in the early stages of this process, that Magic Johnson loves Lonzo Ball, that he wants Lonzo Ball, that still remains the same. I think Ball is going to be the number two pick. Yeah,
I do too, but I think Magic's looking at this as a businessman. That he's falling in love with the business side of Lonzo Ball and what he'll mean, because people will show up to watch him. People will tune in to watch him. I agree with you on that. Jerry West to the Clippers. And we were wondering this prior to the start of the show. When Jerry was last on the show a couple of weeks ago, you could hear it. You could hear it in his voice. He wanted to finish with the Lakers. Why was that door closed?
Well, I don't know why it was closed necessarily. I just don't think the Lakers had a need for him. Magic coming in, revamping the personnel. I think Jerry could have helped any team, including the Lakers, as an advisor. I just don't think the Lakers felt like they had a need for him at that time. The Clippers, I mean, I love Jerry West there, but it's not like Jerry West can create more cap space and bring back the draft picks that the Clippers have traded away. I'd be hesitant to think that an almost 80-year-old Jerry West is going to be able to perform miracles there. But in the case of the Lakers, maybe not needing Jerry West, the Clippers do. I mean, the Clippers have a relatively young, inexperienced front office. Lawrence Frank is the GM. He went from being a coach. I think Jerry West can add valuable experience and intel in trying to rebuild some of the things within this team. So I like the fit a lot for him there.
I'll leave you with this. The player who will not be back with his team, most likely not back with his team. Let's say Blake Griffin. Let's say Kevin Love, Jimmy Butler, Gordon Hayward, Paul George.
Well, let me turn this around on you, Dan, and ask you this question. Do you think that Gordon Hayward's wife posted that Instagram of the kid wearing a Shamrock T-shirt by accident?
No.
No, I don't either. I think that the Brad Stevens connection with Hayward is strong. I think the Eastern Conference is appealing. If I had to guess one of those players, I would say Gordon Hayward goes east and plays for Boston.
Kevin Love on the move?
First of all, Indiana is not trading Paul George for Kevin Love. That makes zero sense for the Pacers. If they're going to trade Paul George, it's for a rebuilding package that includes young players and draft picks. Why would the Pacers want 28-year-old Kevin Love on a max contract? I think Kevin Love will be dangled in deals, but are you really going to get something back that's the equivalent of Kevin Love? That's something I'm less sure about.
Have fun in Vegas, and we'll once again play this sound for you probably after the fight.
For the rest of my life.
For the rest
Thanks,
of your life. We're always recording your life, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
That's Chris Mannix, Yahoo Sports, The Vertical.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.